Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's junk journal with me, I have a little bit of a catch up in the junk journal July challenge. So I've got some footage from a couple of different days for the prompts. So we're going to be doing days 28, 29 and 30 in this video. So day 28, the prompt was upcycled, and I was looking at a few different things. So I had, as you'll have just seen then, an old book that I've clearly had a lot of the nicer pages out of, and then I was sort of left with the random cover and other bits. So I decided I wanted to kind of upcycle that in a way and use that in my journal. I also have some random bits of like packaging, as always, like brown paper, and also this random bit of newspaper which like just fell out of the pile of papers that I'd collected for this. I have no idea where it's from, but I just saw it and immediately went, right, well, I guess I'm sticking that in. So yeah, I have no idea where that came from. And then I was also looking at one of my older journals. So I wanted to get some inspiration, and I suppose this was kind of another way of looking at upcycling in terms of like my older journals and like ideas and things that I want to bring forward into my current journals. It's something that I do quite a lot, is look back at sort of my own other stuff and get like inspiration. And even if just like I've done something before, I'll be like, hey, I really liked that. Let's do it again, but maybe with some different materials. So yeah, I decided that journal, I've not looked at it for a while, so I was just wanting to get some inspiration, and there was one of the pages that I really liked where I'd done things with like a postcard. The page was a random size, there was lots of like collage, and also playing with text as well. So I just wanted to use that and have that as a bit of inspiration for creating in this page. So I did a fussy cut floral, I did some collage, just random scrappy bits really for this page. And I was conscious not to cover up the vellum section of the page, just because I knew that that would show through then to the pages on the reverse of this accordion journal. So I was just being careful there not to cover that. So I was sort of focusing on more of the right hand side of this page really, and that was interesting just to play around with that composition. The cover here was actually quite thick, so I managed to sort of peel the backing off so that it gave me a thinner piece to use within my journal, which is always really handy to do if you want to minimize any bulk. I mean, to be honest, I am getting to the end of this journal now and it's already pretty chunky, but anything I can do to sort of minimize that if I don't have to is something I'll always do. And then I decided to add this little phrase here, just start. It provided a lot of contrast, I felt, to the page, because there was a lot of just samey with all the beige on the page. So I decided it needed like a pop of black or something to help with the contrast. Now, here is some footage of me very confidently cutting out 27 for this journal page. I think that I had just completely forgotten what day prompt I was doing, and I'm just like, yep, this is great for this page. It's really pretty. It's a printable I have from ages ago from Courtney at Little Raven Ink. They're beautiful little embroidery squares. And it wasn't actually until I came back the next day to work on day 29 and 30 that I realised that that was the wrong date. So I ended up going back and cutting out the correct date, the 28th. And I just stuck it over the top. I didn't bother sort of ripping it out or anything. I didn't want to ruin the backing underneath, because I'd glued it the day before, it probably wouldn't be as forgiving. So I just glued the correct day over the top. And I loved adding here just some scribbles and some pencil marks. And in the next spread, I decided to work on the prompts of playlist and in the garden. So for this one, I just knew, so in the garden, florals, obviously. Absolutely love using them in my journal. And so what I did again, same as the day before, I was just really in the mood for like looking back at previous journals. So this is one that I've done for a previous junk journal January, and I'm just looking here at some different ideas. So I loved the cut out florals and then stitching of the leaves, but that wouldn't really have worked because obviously there was the pages underneath on this journal. I could have done it on a separate piece of paper, I suppose, but I really wanted to work on the actual journal page itself. And then here was another one, a more like softer collage. I really loved the page that I did with the white flower on it, with a lot more like muted colours. I've been trying to sort of experiment with some like pops of colour and things, but I really do feel at home in my journals when I'm using the more muted shades, and so I decided to see what flowers and cutouts I could use for this page. I did really love these pansies that I found. I did like the pop of colour, but I just think with the pocket size journal they were actually a little bit too big for this page, a little bit overwhelming, so I ended up going for a pink floral, and I think that it fit the page perfectly. It was still something that was really large and like a focal point of the page, but I just felt that it was a lot softer, and so it really fit the page. So I didn't like meticulously fussy cut this out. I just did a rough outline, and I think this was enough for the way in which I was using it on the page. So it almost became a little bit of a slight background element, which I think was really interesting to work with, because normally when I do like a floral or a fussy cut element, it's always as the finishing touch to a collage. So it was actually quite interesting to put this on the page first and then be adding things on top of this. So it was a really interesting way to work, and I really loved the way that it turned out, to have this more as a little bit of a background element. I also added some coffee staining to kind of try and blend it into the page, because even though this was really, really beautiful, it was on white paper, and so against all these cream tones it kind of felt a little bit like it was floating. So just adding some of the coffee staining in certain sections, not over the whole thing, just helped to bring it together a little bit more and sort of blend things in different areas and make it feel a little bit more vintage, I suppose, and aged, which I always really love in my journals. And then I was adding softer elements as well, like tissue paper and things like that, just to help build up the collage. Now for playlist, I wanted to add something that I could do a little bit of a journaling spot on, and then write. I didn't know whether to do like an actual playlist and write down some songs, or to do lyrics, and in the end I just went for lyrics, to have that musical theme still. So I've just got this spot here that I'm adding some collage underneath, just to sort of frame it a little bit, and then also this little floral thing that was off another journal spot that I decided just to glue on here. I just really love, because the paper clip was from the page behind. I kind of wanted to incorporate that rather than just there randomly be a paper clip, so it kind of looks like the paper clip is supposed to be there now on both sides of the page. I actually really love how this page turned out. The warmth and the colours are something that I definitely want to use in future journal pages. But that is everything that I did for today's Junk Journal with me. I hope you enjoyed catching up on Junk Journal July prompts with me. Let me know in the comments how you're getting on now that we're almost at the end of the challenge. I can't believe July is almost over. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.